Hello everyone, welcome to Feedstuffs 365. I'm Sarah Muirhead. With me today is Dr. Steve Lerner of Novonesis. Welcome Steve, great to have you with us.
Happy to be here, Sarah, thank you.
Those of you joining us online, we appreciate you being with us as well. If you have any questions for Steve, please post those there in the chat area on your screen. If you're joining us from social media, you can post those directly in those channels. So Steve, talk to us about Novonesis. What is Novonesis? It's kind of new to the marketplace.
So Novonesis is the merger of two relatively old companies, Novozymes, been in business for 100 years producing enzymes, active functional proteins, and then Christian Hansen, who is celebrating the 150th year at the time of the merger, came together to form a world-leading biosolutions company called Novonesis. Just for reference, Novonesis came from Novo, meaning new, and then Genesis, the word Nessus at the end, from beginning. So a new beginning, phenomenal, huge company, now about 10,000 strong, doing about $6 billion in turnover, totally focused on biosolutions, from food and detergents to biofuels and plant and animal health products.
And what is your role with the company?
I am the Senior Marketing and Business Advisor. Interesting title, I know. But I serve the marketing, tech service, and management teams. I'm basically a professional storyteller who likes to share the benefits of effective probiotics in the marketplace, whether that's for production animals or for plant or for humans or pets.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Certainly.
So tell me about the brain-gut microbiome axis. What is that all about and why is that important?
Certainly. So we, talk about humans, carry about 40 trillion microorganisms in and on us. Collectively, they're referred to as the microbiome. What we now understand in the last few decades is that these microorganisms actually have several pathways through which they can communicate to us. They populate our intestinal tract. They can digest fibers into what are called short-chain fatty acids, and those are the communication molecules. These short-chain fatty acids can stimulate nervous signals from our gut to our brain to have a direct nervous interaction. They can stimulate the production of hormones like serotonin or glucagon like peptide 1, other hormones, PYY, involved in satiety, to send hormonal signals to our brain, and then they can impact immune molecules. And we know the brain can communicate back to the gut, impacting motility. If you don't believe that, you've never had a bout of food poisoning to know how rapidly your brain can impact your gut. But this is a closed circuit system that functions perfectly well every day. And when it's working well, we feel good. When it's not working well, we know the consequences of that also. And this gut-brain microbiome axis is not only in people, but it's in all the animals in our care. When we're producing meat, milk, and eggs, it behooves us to remember that this is actually a well-functioning system, and everything we can do to keep that microbiome healthy, balanced, and robust, then the animals are better able to simply maintain a normal state of affairs.
So gut health is really important then to animal well-being. And what does that translate into production and performance results as well?
We typically, in animal agriculture, whether we're producing meat, milk, or eggs, there are typical industry measures, whether it's feed conversion, average daily gain, morbidity, mortality, you name it, we measure these things all the time. I am now of the greatest belief that all we've ever been witnessing is that the greater the percentage of normal, healthy animals in any herd of dairy cattle, lot of beef cattle, flow of pigs, flock of chickens, the greater percentage of normal leads to a positive outcome. Whether that's a positive economic outcome in terms of margin or just efficiency, and it all relates to a normal functioning gut. If the gut is working well, animals digest their feed properly. They absorb those nutrients across a healthy surface area. The more nutrients they take in, the resource allocation model of life allows them to partition those nutrients to maintenance, to defense, to the production of meat, milk, and eggs. We also know the barrier function that keeps things that are moving through the animal from going into its body is impacted positively by the microbiome, and immune function. 70% of our immune system lives around our intestinal tract. The same is true for the animals in our care. If we can positively influence their capacity to respond normally, then they stay healthier. And if every animal on your feedlot was healthy and normal, that'd be a good day. If every animal in your dairy is healthy and normal, that'd be a miracle. And we believe that it's all based on gut health. And then we, of course, provide supplements, probiotics, that we believe and have evidence for that impact that gut health effectively.
We hear a lot about what we can do to improve our gut health.
Yes.
What can producers do to improve the gut health of their animals?
Well, certainly good feed, good water, good environment, all those things are always important. But there are supplements like effective probiotics that can be provided that have some direct actions in the gut, but also indirect actions. And one of those indirect actions is to improve the quality of the microbiome. And what I mean is a beneficial balance of good and commensal bacteria versus potentially harmful, inflammatory, pathogenic bacteria. And if you can maintain that beneficial balance, then all of the cascade of good things occurs. The rumen functions properly in cattle, the digestive system of monogastric animals functions properly. And if that's working, they feel better, there's evidence that they act better, chickens are less skittish, dogs have less anxiety. It's amazing the benefits. Crying fussy babies cry less. There's evidence for all of these behavioral change based on a healthy gut. And we know ourselves, if we feel good, we know what that feels like, and actually it's a feeling. We talk about that. If we have food poisoning, we know how that feels. When you can't get more than 10 feet away from porcelain, you know it's a bad day, and it drives our behaviors. And this is true for us, our children, and all the animals in our care.
What about fiber? Does fiber play a role in this as well?
Great question. So when you look at the human health again, our colon is populated with trillions of organisms. A remarkably high proportion of those organisms are designed genetically to produce enzymes that digest relatively complex fibers into short-chain fatty acids, which are 2 to 6 carbon molecules. These short-chain fatty acids are the energy source for the cells of our colon. Without those enzymes, we would perish. So fibers are absolutely essential, and then these short-chain fatty acids have the whole other cascade of impacting immune function, of liver function, brain function. It's remarkable that these molecules could be the single conduit by which our bacteria in the gut not only influence our immediate local health, but our general well-being also. And it all starts with fiber.
And you mentioned probiotics.
Yes, probiotics.
So tell us about what role they play in that.
So when you provide an effective probiotic, you're providing billions of living organisms into the host for a positive influence. The definition of probiotics is living organisms, when fed in an adequate quantity, confer a health benefit to the host. That's the definition. And that health benefit comes in myriad ways. It is a direct influence on improving the surface area by forming biofilms. The enzyme production in those biofilms to digest nutrients out of feed is very high. There can be antimicrobial peptides produced that can reduce the risk of pathogenicity from other organisms in the gut. But probably most importantly, the probiotics can support a robust microbiome. And what I mean by that is, we are all stressed. Animals in our care are stressed all the time. Internal, external, environmental stressors. If you are better prepared and have nutrient resources to defend yourself, then the chance of there being a clinical problem diminishes. And it's all based on maintaining this healthy, robust microbiome. So you know animals will shift in a population. There's probably a bell curve distribution of normal, the best animals, those closest to the risk. And if you can improve that, reduce variation, that's a win. And that's what we see effective probiotics doing. It shifts the population towards positive, it reduces variation, and we call that phenomenon simply supporting normal. You get what you expect to get, the animals have a better chance of achieving their genetic potential for the production of meat, milk, and eggs.
A lot of great information. Where should producers go to get more information and to just, explore this?
They can certainly reach out to us on our website, Novonesis.com. They can find our technical resources in their area. I'm happy to come speak with anybody, anytime, using my direct contact information.
Very good. Thank you so much for your time today, Steve.
My absolute pleasure, Sarah. Thank you.
Steve Lerner of Novonesis. We appreciate him being with us here today. We appreciate you joining us as well. For Feedstuffs, I'm Sarah Muirhead.